Jack and Maria Thompson had longed for a child for many years in a cozy little house in the rural north of Montana. After many attempts, their dream came true. A beautiful daughter named Lily. However, they could never have imagined that the strongest protector of their daughter would come from a wild creature, a wolf they had once rescued. Blaze, an adult wolf, was saved by Jack when he was trapped and badly injured during a hunting trip. When Jack and Maria brought Blaze home to care for it, they only hoped to help a wild animal. But Blaze quickly formed a strong bond with their family, a strange connection they couldn't explain. When Lily was born, Blaze was always by her side, protecting the child with an instinct that no family member could explain. Blaze would lie under Lily's crib every night, its eyes never leaving her, and every time there was an unusual sound or movement, Blaze would growl alertly. Maria occasionally felt a little uneasy when Blaze would always appear when she was taking care of Lily, but Jack always explained that Blaze was protecting the child and that it could sense changes that humans couldn't see. And indeed, Blaze saved them again. One night, as Maria put Lily to bed and Blaze followed behind, something strange happened. Blaze stood by the door, refusing to enter. Maria felt uneasy and didn't understand why Blaze was acting like that. Suddenly, she heard a strange noise from outside the window, a shadowy figure moving stealthily in the dark. Maria hurried downstairs and called Jack, but Blaze had already reacted. Blaze rushed outside, bravely attacking the intruder, causing the person to flee in panic. Maria couldn't believe her eyes when she saw Blaze return with a slight injury, but its eyes were still shining with courage. The intruder had planned to steal from the house and attack the family, but Blaze had stopped and protected them from danger. Jack and Maria later reported the incident to the police, discovering that the intruder was a notorious thief. They found that Blaze, with its instinct, had recognized the threat early and protected the family while they were unaware. From then on, Blaze became not only the loyal companion, but also the invisible protector of the Thompson family. The bond between Blaze and Lily grew stronger. Blaze always protected Lily every time she slept, and on long nights it always kept watch to ensure the family would never face any danger. As Lily grew up, Blaze was always there, watching and protecting, and even though its presence sometimes made people feel strange, they understood that it was Blaze's instinct. This loyal and intelligent protector always puts the family first. On a cold winter morning, after a long and peaceful night, the Thompson family sat together in the kitchen enjoying breakfast. Jack prepared a hot cup of coffee while Maria placed slices of toast on the table. Lily, now 3 years old, was playing with Blaze in the corner of the room, laughing as the wolf playfully chased its own shadow. Blaze had always been a part of the family, with sharp eyes and a strong body. Though accustomed to living alongside humans, Blaze's wild instincts had never faded. The wolf held a special place in the hearts of the Thompson family as an invisible protector they couldn't do without. One day, as Jack and Maria worked outside in the garden, Lily played with Blaze in the yard. Suddenly, Blaze stopped. Its ears perked up, and its nose began to sniff the air. Lily, used to Blaze's actions, looked up and asked, "Blaze, what's going on?" Blaze didn't answer, but its yellow eyes scanned the surroundings with precise vigilance. Maria turned around and sensed something unusual. Jack also noticed the change in Blaze's behavior. He grabbed the hunting rifle hanging on the wall and quickly moved toward the yard. Not long after, they saw a strange figure walking quickly toward their house. The man wore a black coat and sunglasses, his hands tightly gripping his pockets. Blaze began to growl, making the stranger stop immediately. Maria and Jack had trained Blaze always to be wary of strangers, but the tension was palpable this time. "Who is he?" Maria asked, worried. Jack observed the man and recognized some strange signs. "Let me check," he said. Blaze maintained its alert stance, growling softly but not attacking. The family quickly retreated inside the house and Jack called the police. Meanwhile, Blaze remained at the window, its eyes never leaving the stranger. A while later, the police arrived and began investigating. They found that the man was a thief who was wanted in the area. After the police arrested the thief and took him away, Maria sighed in relief but couldn't help but feel grateful to Blaze. "How can we thank it?" Maria said to Jack. Jack nodded, his eyes filled with pride. "Blaze saved us again." After that incident, the Thompson family decided to install a new security system but knew they didn't need to rely entirely on technology. Blaze remained their irreplaceable protector. As time passed, the bond between Blaze and Lily grew even stronger. Blaze was not just a pet, but a protector, a silent companion whom Lily adored. Blaze always watched over and protected her whenever she played in the yard or went for a walk. One afternoon, when Lily was playing with friends in the yard, Blaze suddenly stood between her and a large dog running toward her. The dog stopped and turned away, while Blaze stood its ground, protecting Lily with unshakable determination. "Blaze is amazing," Lily laughed, hugging the wolf's neck. Maria and Jack stood from a distance, watching the scene unfold, feeling a warmth in their hearts. They understood that Blaze was not just a wild animal that had been rescued, but an irreplaceable part of their family. A year later, as Lily was preparing to enter kindergarten, the Thompson family decided to organize a special birthday party for Blaze. The party was held in their home garden, where Blaze and Lily played together while family and friends gathered to share stories of the wonderful years they had spent together. At that moment, Maria sat next to Jack, holding his hand, their eyes directed at Blaze and Lily. "We're so lucky to have Blaze," Maria said, her voice filled with emotion. Jack smiled, looking at Blaze lying next to Lily, its golden eyes still alert but full of love. "Blaze is part of our family," he replied. "Not just a wild wolf, but the best protector." And so Blaze's story, the wild wolf with a protective instinct, continued, becoming a symbol of unconditional love and sacrifice within the Thompson family. The Thompson family still gathered together as they always did. Blaze remained the silent shadow that moved around them, always protecting and guarding them as if it were an indispensable part of their lives. Lily, now 4 years old, still enjoyed playing with Blaze, but she began noticing the difference between Blaze and other pets over time. Blaze was a wolf, its wild instincts always present, but to the Thompson family, Blaze had become a familiar and irreplaceable part of their home. One afternoon, while Maria and Lily were painting in the living room, Jack received a call from an old friend, Joe, a local police officer. Jack answered the phone, and Joe's voice quickly made him uneasy. "Jack, I need to talk to you about something serious," Joe said, his voice full of worry. "There's a stranger lurking around your area. We've been tracking him, but we can't figure out his target. I think he may return." Jack felt a chill run down his spine. He didn't say anything. He felt a fear he couldn't explain. Maria noticed the change in Jack's expression and walked over. "What's wrong?" she asked, concerned. "Joe called," Jack replied. "There's a stranger around here. He might come back, and we need to prepare." Maria felt a cold wave wash over her, but she immediately knew Blaze would protect them as always. After that call, Jack and Maria decided not to panic, but to prepare for the worst-case scenario. They checked the security system, locked all the windows and doors, and kept Lily closed like never before. Blaze, as if sensing the tension in the air, walked through each room, its golden eyes scanning for any signs of danger. It didn't stop at the windows or doors, but moved around the house, observing every corner. That evening, when the darkness had settled and the Thompson family was preparing to sleep, Blaze still didn't leave its position. It lay by the door of Lily's room, its eyes sharp in the dark. A slight sound from the yard made Blaze jerk its head. It stood up, ears erect, eyes focused on the door. Jack and Maria heard the wolf growling but didn't understand what was happening until Blaze ran out the door. Jack ran after Blaze in a moment, catching a glimpse of the stranger quickly disappearing into the night. Blaze growled and chased after him like an actual wild wolf. Jack promptly followed the wolf, calling Joe to inform him that the stranger had appeared. Meanwhile, Maria hurriedly took Lily into the bedroom and closed the door, but she couldn't stop worrying. She heard the sounds of pursuit, footsteps pounding, and Blaze's growls echoing in the cold air. Everything around them seemed to plunge into a tense darkness. After what felt like an eternity, Jack returned, panting. "Blaze caught up with him," he said, still trembling. "We have to be more careful. The police will be here soon." When the police arrived, they quickly checked the area and confirmed that the stranger, a wanted criminal, had been trying to break into Thompson's house to steal. But the family was unharmed thanks to Blaze's courage and protective instincts. The police took down Jack and Maria's statements, but deep in their hearts, they knew Blaze was the one who had saved them. From then on, Jack and Maria never doubted Blaze's instincts again. The wolf not only protected them, but had become an essential part of their family, a silent hero they couldn't live without. Since that night, as the situation calmed down, Lily ran to Blaze, wrapping her arms around its neck. Blaze gently licked her face as if confirming that everything was okay. Jack and Maria stood watching the scene, feeling overwhelming gratitude. "Blaze is the best protector we could have," Maria whispered, her eyes welling up. "Yes," Jack replied. "Blaze has protected this family many times, and now we can't imagine life without it." Blaze lay down next to Lily, its golden eyes carefully watching everything. The wolf knew that until every danger had passed, it would always be the loyal protector of the Thompson family. And in the darkness of that night, Blaze, the silent protector, continued to stand guard, ready to face any challenge to protect the family it had chosen. After the terrifying incident with the intruder, the Thompson family's life seemed to return to normal.
However, Maria and Jack couldn't thoroughly shake off their uneasy feelings. Even though Blaze was always by their side, watching and protecting, the fear of potential dangers lingered in the air. They began to feel that life couldn't be truly peaceful if they continued to live in constant fear. One afternoon, while Lily was playing in the yard and Blaze was lying under a tree, Jack decided to make plans for the family to return to a normal pace of life.
He had planned a trip to the suburbs, to a place with large fields and fresh air. He thought this would be the perfect opportunity for the family to relax and regain peace of mind. Maria agreed with the plan. The whole family packed their things and got into the car. Blaze was also placed in the car, lying quietly in the back seat, with eyes always alert, like a soldier ready to face any danger. The whole family had a wonderful afternoon when they arrived at a quiet area outside the city. Jack and Maria sat together, chatting and relaxing under the warm sunlight, while Lily ran happily around the fields. Blaze always stayed close to her, never taking its eyes off her, protecting her as if this were its most important mission. However, in the middle of their picnic, something strange happened. Blaze suddenly stood up and ran towards the nearby forest. Maria and Jack didn't understand what was happening, but they quickly stood up and chased after it. Lily, as usual, laughed loudly as Blaze ran ahead, but the tension in the air made it impossible for them to continue playing. Upon reaching the forest, they saw Blaze standing face to face with a stranger, a middle-aged man dressed but with an unsettling appearance. He stood some distance away, not moving. Blaze remained positioned between Lily and the man, its bright eyes fixed, not moving an inch. "Hello," the man said, his voice calm but with a hint of tension. "I'm Thomas. I live nearby."
"I was just taking a walk. Didn't think I'd be disturbing you." Maria and Jack felt uneasy. Since the break-in incident, they had become more cautious about strangers around them. They began to suspect this man's presence. Blaze still stood firmly between them, showing no signs of yielding. "Who could he be?" Jack asked, his eyes not leaving the man. Thomas noticed the suspicion in Jack and Maria's eyes, so he took a step back. "I mean no harm. I'm just a nature lover living alone nearby. But if you feel uncomfortable, I'll leave." Maria nodded, but was still uneasy. "We think it's best if you leave," she said firmly. The man looked at Blaze, then back at the Thompson family, as if they had had unspoken communication. He silently turned and walked out of the forest, not forgetting to glance back at Blaze one last time. Blaze stood still until the man disappeared from sight, then turned and walked back to Lily. "Blaze, thank you," Maria whispered, her eyes full of gratitude.
Blaze responded with a soft growl, as if it knew the family understood and appreciated its actions. Jack watched the man's figure fade into the forest, feeling an inexplicable sense of unease about Thomas's appearance. But he also knew that, once again, Blaze had protected their family, not just with its powerful instincts, but also with a sensitivity that no one could fully understand.
Later that evening, as the Thompson family gathered around the dinner table in their small house, they felt a sense of relief. But Jack couldn't shake off the thought of the man and what had happened. "Who do you think that man was?" Maria asked, noticing Jack's deep thoughts. Jack shook his head. "I don't know, but there's something off about him. Blaze protected us again, but I still can't stop worrying." Maria placed her hand on Jack's shoulder, trying to comfort him. "Still, we have Blaze. It will always protect this family." With the light of the fire in the fireplace, the Thompson family looked at Blaze lying at their feet, its golden eyes still fixed on Lily. Blaze, the wild wolf, remained their silent and loyal protector. After the strange afternoon in the forest, the Thompson family's life seemed to return to normal. However, the worry in Jack and Maria's hearts did not easily disappear. Even though Blaze had proven to be an excellent protector, they couldn't help but feel uneasy after encountering the strange man. In the days that followed, Jack decided to take additional precautions. He installed more security systems around the house and asked Maria to always keep her phone close by for quick communication in emergencies. Despite all these precautions, both felt a lingering exhaustion, as if they were constantly ready to face danger. A week after the forest incident, the Thompson family took a short vacation to the beach, far from where they had encountered the strange man. They hoped the new environment would help alleviate their worries and bring a sense of peace to the family. Blaze, of course, came along. They chose a small coastal house with vast golden sands and the waves gently lapping, providing a sense of tranquility. The whole family enjoyed their time together, relaxing and immersing themselves in nature. Blaze was always by Lily's side, like a shadow of protection, following every step she took as she ran and played on the beach. One afternoon, as the Thompson family sat on the porch, they noticed a strange car parked near the house's driveway. The car door opened, and a middle-aged man stepped out, looking around as though searching for something. Maria felt a sense of unease in her heart, but she tried to reassure herself that it was just a harmless stranger. Blaze also sensed the change in the atmosphere. It stood up, staring at the man as he walked toward the house. No one said anything, but they all recognized the wolf's vigilance. Jack turned to Maria, his expression serious. "We need to be careful," he whispered. Maria nodded, a strange feeling rising in her chest. The man walked closer, but Blaze kept its distance, not allowing him to get closer to the family. As he approached, Blaze suddenly growled, warning him. The man stopped, slightly confused. "Sorry, I'm just looking for a friend. I think I got the wrong address," he said, but his voice was unsettling. Maria and Jack looked at each other, their suspicions rising. "Are you the one who met us in the forest the other day?" Jack asked, his voice betraying his concern. The man hesitated a moment before answering. "I don't know you," he said, but his eyes revealed awkwardness. Blaze refused to leave its position, its gaze still sharp, its ears upright. The whole family realized this was no random encounter. The man was trying to hide something. Jack spoke firmly. "It's better if you leave now." The man looked again at Blaze, his eyes showing a hint of fear, then turned and quickly walked back to his car. Before getting in, he turned back again, his lips moving as if he wanted to say something, but then he quietly drove away. "This isn't right," Maria said, her hands trembling. "We can't keep living in worry like this." Jack placed his hand on her shoulder, looking toward Blaze, who was still standing guard. "I think it's time we clear things up." After the man left, Jack and Maria decided to call the police, although they didn't have enough evidence to prove any wrongdoing. They didn't want a repeat of the previous incident and needed to ensure the family's safety. The next morning, the police arrived and checked the surrounding area. They didn't find anything suspicious, but advised the Thompson family to continue monitoring for any irregularities. The police promised to keep a closer watch on the area. Blaze didn't show much concern in the following days, but always maintained a certain distance from strangers. The Thompson family became even more cautious, feeling they couldn't take anyone or anything lightly these days. However, deep down, they still had a strong belief that Blaze would always protect them, no matter what happened. Despite the worries and unease, they knew a silent protector like Blaze would always guard this family from all dangers. As summer arrived, the Thompson family gradually learned to accept that life would always have unexpected challenges. But they knew that with Blaze by their side, they would weather any storm, for Blaze's protection was instinctive and driven by unconditional love, an unbreakable bond. As time passed, the Thompson family learned that life is always full of surprises and challenges. But the most important things always exist in the bonds of love and protection. Blaze was not just a pet, but a silent companion, the loyal protector the family could trust daily. Even though threats would always be present, Blaze proved that it not only protected them physically, but also shielded them from anxiety and fear. Blaze's presence in the Thompson family's life provided a solid belief that love and loyalty know no bounds and can overcome any difficulty. With Blaze's protection, the Thompson family lived a peaceful and happy life, knowing that no matter what happened, they would never face fear alone. Thank you for following this story. If you enjoy stories about loyalty, protection, and unconditional love, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any upcoming stories. We'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Thank you, and see you again in the following stories.